Sooner Nation, Longhorn fans, welcome to episode 172 of the Bevo Podcast, the only podcast exclusively dedicated to covering the greatest rivalry in college football, the University of Texas, and the University of Oklahoma. I'm here with my man, Kevin Miller. I am John Whitson. Kevin, the latest recipient of the Jim Thorpe Award received his award this week in Oklahoma City. He then proceeded on his way back to where he is from, stopped in front of Gaylord Memorial Stadium with his trophy, posing with horns down. For those that don't know who won the Jim Thorpe Award, it was Jaren Kanak. Horns up. Horns up. Sorry. I'm so used to saying horns down. With horns up, the person who won the Jim Thorpe Award is Jaren Kanak from the University of Texas. Should I be upset that he is in front of Gaylord Memorial with the horns up on a random Wednesday in March?
Yeah, a little bit. I'd be annoyed.
I think that if he took the time to look around at the 7 national championships and the 7 Heisman Trophy winners and the Selman brothers and Bob Stoops, he's probably thinking to himself, I wish I would have gone to Oklahoma. Do you agree with that?
I don't think so. Nah, he's good. 2 college football playoff appearances. He's all right. Thorpe Award winner, soon to be first round pick in the NFL draft. He's all right.
Do you think it bothers him when he goes back to Texas and looks at their stadium that it is named for a Sooner that won a national championship? Do you think he has any concern about that?
I'm going to tell you he doesn't. He couldn't care less.
Kids don't appreciate history like they should. Kevin, Oklahoma has more national championships, more Heismans. Do we have more wins? I think we have more wins.
I don't think you have more wins.
Texas.
I don't think you have more wins.
Y'all do have the lead in the overall rivalry, but we're talking about because like the 1910s. You know what I mean?
It's a 100-year rivalry, so you're gonna have
in any of the years that matter, Oklahoma is ahead of it. I saw this, and I'm hoping that Brent Venables prints the picture out and posts it in the locker room. That's what I want to see. I'm mad at Jaren Kanak.
Well,
he's a winner. He's a winner.
He won't be there.
I'm just saying he's a winner. He can do what he wants. But we can't be letting some guy from Texas show up at our thing, throw horns up with a Jim Thorpe trophy.
I get that. You're right about that. But, what are you going to do now? It's not like he did it when, you guys were all there. It was a picture taken in a random night. Nobody's at the stadium. It's not like, it's not like us planting a flag on your field or something.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's not bulletin board material.
I don't think it is. No. It would annoy me, though. If one of your players did that, it would annoy me.
I'm not that upset about it. Again, he's a winner.
Yeah, that's why I use the word annoyed. Not pissed. Yeah. Just be a little annoying. Like, come on, man. What are you doing? That's what I would think.
I just hope he saw the 7 Heisman trophies and the 7 national championships. That's all I'm saying.
Like I said, he won the Thorpe Award.
Take it all in, Johnny. Take it all in, Johnny.
It's interesting because I'm pretty sure somebody had posted a story about him when he was in high school. He might have been a freshman. He was really young, and he went. I can't remember who it was. And, it might have even been Samaje. He was a kid. And I think he came with Samaje on a recruiting trip to OU.
With Samaje?
Correct. Unofficial. He might have been in middle school at the time. Think about Samaje Perine. He's from Austin. He's from Pflugerville.
That's right. That's right. Man. Golly, I wish we could have pulled John. Were we ever in with Jaren Kanak, or was he an early commit to Texas?
Jaren was a Baylor commit, and we jumped on him very late in the process. So we got lucky. It was a late evaluation that allowed us to get him to flip from Baylor to Texas. And what a great move. He turned out to be an outstanding player, and I can't wait to see what he does at the next level.
Listen, Jim Thorpe Awards, to me, I mean, we've had some Jim Thorpe Awards with Derek Strait. Roy Williams win the Thorpe Award?
I'm not sure. You would think so, right? But I mean, I know Derek Strait for sure.
I don't know if he did or not. But anyway, it's really cool. Have you ever read like a Jim Thorpe biography?
No, but it sounds fascinating to be that much of a well-rounded athlete.
I've got a good one for you. I've got a good biography for you. Really well written. It's the same guy who wrote a biography on Vince Lombardi. So it's really, really well written. He's a tragic hero in America, Jim Thorpe. With what he accomplished and then kind of how his life turned out. And I think it's an American story, in other words, right? And more so with his heritage of being a Native American.
For sure.
It's fascinating. Yeah, but athletically, my God. I mean, voted for the first half of the season. Anyway, we're going off about Jim Thorpe.
Okay, so Thorpe Award winners, University of Oklahoma, Roy Williams in 2001 and Derek Strait in 2003. Texas has 3 now. Michael Huff in 05, Aaron Ross in 06, and now, of course, Jade Barron. We should have one more, but you know how that goes.
Who got
Earl
snubbed?
Thomas, man. Earl Thomas in 2009.
You're probably right.
No one was better. All due respect to Eric Berry, who I love. Eric Berry was better in 2008. He was better in 08. You got to trust me on this. And I love Eric Berry. 2008, Eric Berry was better than 2009.
Am I right that Eric Berry got cancer? Is that right?
Yes, he did. Yeah, and he was able to beat cancer and come back to the NFL.
Unbelievable. That guy, he was really good at Tennessee, but you're right.
Incredible player.
You're right. No, Earl Thomas that was a hell of a year by Earl Thomas. It was really, really good. Okay. Listen, Kevin, there is so much to talk about. We have men's basketball. They meet on Saturday. We've got women's basketball. We're just going to hit on that real quick because there's a lot of stuff to talk about there. But first, we're going to start with spring ball. News coming out of Oklahoma. Last time we talked, Texas had canceled their spring game. We talked about all the direction and all of that, man. And I went on my rant about, was it really because of poaching? I still don't think it was. Oklahoma officially cancels their spring game this week. They are going to have a Crimson Combine, a.k.a. a fan day, April 12th at 1 p.m. You know, that sport's changing and it kind of sucks. But I think you brought up a good point, right? The spring game, we watch it because it's on, not because it's compelling television. And I think you're right about that. It'll be interesting to see. I think what they have to strive for is fan engagement. You've got some really, really good characters and people and personalities on Oklahoma's team and on Texas's team that fans can really attach to. Because in the age of the portal, in the age of NIL, it's so easy to go, they're here for the paycheck. They transferred in. They're not a real Sooner. They're not a real Longhorn. Whatever the
mercenaries.
case may be. Mercenaries. Thank you. And I don't know that it's probably unfair to some extent. Listen, if they help you win a national championship, you're already going to be thinking they're a mercenary. So
correct. Yeah, I agree.
So I think that this is an opportunity, if done right. If done right, that might be better attended and more engagement than you'd get. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, I never thought it was about poaching players. I never thought it was about the transfer portal. I know Matt Rule said that.
Yeah, that's a one little small part of it. Yeah.
I don't agree. I don't remember the spring portal being some big deal where you'd have a game and everybody was in transfer, and it didn't happen. So
correct.
And then as far as the injury part, let's talk about injuries. Regardless of whether Oklahoma is worried about injuries in the spring game or not, they still have an injury issue, which left many Oklahoma fans reeling in despair in 2024. In their spring football, Oklahoma has 9 different players out for injury, 4 potential starters, a couple along the offensive line. Javonte Barnes is one of the injuries. And then Jaden Gibson, wide receiver, had what is termed a small setback.
It doesn't sound good.
I think it sounds terrible. I don't think that's what you want to hear from Jaden Gibson. We know the bugaboo that the wide receiver room in particular has had, but the struggles that Jaden Gibson individually has had, a small setback, if it's big enough to announce it, it's not a small setback.
I agree. So is there any kind of update or anything on his status? Or
I think he's going to be out with the rest of the other 9. I think he was
so he'll be out
not
for
one of
spring.
That's kind of how I took it, but I don't know. I don't have any the fact that Javonte Barnes says he's hurt, that's too funny. All right. The other note, this is I told you that there was a nugget. Not really a nugget, but an announcement that was made today about a personnel switch. And I told you that there was an announcement that was made that really pisses me off.
Okay, so hold on. I thought what annoyed you was Jaren Kanak posing with his Thorpe Award in front of the University of Oklahoma Stadium.
No.
So you're telling me there's something else that annoyed you?
I'm more annoyed by what I'm about to tell you. Like, see, I'm not joking. Jaren Kanak has switched from defense to offense. He is now a tight end.
In year 4.
I don't know what year it is. Maybe year 4. Listen. If you had somebody on the roster that was capable of catching passes or blocking somebody, and you didn't play them last year, what the hell were you doing in the offensive room? He did not play defense last year. He was on special teams. You could have played him last year. You're telling me that he had the potential to at some point play tight end, and we chose last year not to play this kid? Kevin, it's criminal. It's criminal. We had a dearth of talent on the offensive side. We had receivers that you would have never seen the field if it wasn't for 5 and 6 injuries deep on the wide receiver spot. We had tight ends have historically the worst years of tight end at the University of Oklahoma. And you have a kid. Listen, I don't know I looked at, did you see his high school stats?
No.
I think his senior year, he might have had 30 touchdowns.
Oh, goodness.
Dude, he could have been running the ball, he could have been catching the ball, and he could have been blocking for us. And we let him sit on the sideline? I'm not joking. This isn't false indignation. When I saw this, I was like, holy crap. I'm
that
sorry,
is interesting. Dude. This is year 4. He's been there since 2022.
Look, you're not on Twitter as much as I am, especially in the offseason, but do you ever catch his stuff? He's hilarious.
Okay, it's funny because I wanted to look up just to confirm that he was a senior. And when I typed in Jaren Kanak, what popped up was not University of Oklahoma football player. What popped up was internet personality.
Yeah.
I kid you not, that's what came up.
Yeah, he's super funny.
Yeah.
He is he's really, really funny. His tweets are great. But I'm just sitting here going, okay, we see potential in him on the offensive side of the ball, and we didn't utilize it last year. Look, dude, we had bye weeks, Kevin. We talked about moving Jacoby Johnson over.
We didn't talk about it.
They did. Well, they said
He
they
did.
did. I didn't see him out there very much. I don't know how
He
many
was out
receptions.
there, but yeah, he just didn't. Yeah.
And you had a kid that all he was doing was playing special teams, and a very good special team player at that. Like, he's a good special teams player.
Well, yeah, he's a great athlete. He's got the kind of build and athleticism that you want on special teams. Just hasn't, I guess, figured it out at linebacker.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of not figuring it out. I think he got passed up. You get passed up by Kip Lewis. Yeah, that makes sense. Kobe McKenzie, probably, and then a couple other guys. I don't know who's still here. My mind's kind of gone blank on who. Like Omasigo. I think Omasigo's probably a better linebacker than he is.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's his fault. I think he just got passed up by better players. But he's still athletic. And my point being, you're going to move him to tight end now? When you had a season like we had last year, where we were so inept? It blows my mind, dude. My mind is blown. And
I get that, especially with the lack of depth that you had there last year with Bauer Sharp and who's the other kid, Roberts.
Right. Well, Roberts was hurt. And Jaden Helms got in a little bit, but
what are you hearing on the Devon Mitchell kid?
He looks big. He's gained a lot of weight. The pictures coming out of spring ball have him like at 275.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. I think the year of maturing, he reclassified.
Yeah, he was there early.
And it just, all indications were he wasn't ready to play, I guess.
Of course. Well, it makes sense. That's completely understandable to me.
Look, when you're 17, unless you're Ryan Williams, right, at Alabama?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Unless you're Ryan Williams at Alabama or the kid from Ohio State, 17 you're a kid. 18, 19, some changes take place. Right. So 275. He's 275. So that's a big dude.
You're looking like a left tackle.
Kevin, I saw that and it just went all over me. I mean, whatever. I don't know if that's a Ben Arbuckle decision. I don't know if that was a Joe John Finley decision. I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
Maybe the kid asked. Maybe he said, "Hey, listen, I'm not going to get on the field. I'm buried on the depth chart, a linebacker."
You don't think he asked last year? Is there anywhere else? You don't think he asked last year?
Maybe not.
They knew what they had, dude. Look up his high school stats real quick.
Okay, it's funny. I see that here, and it said that his senior, he's from a small town in Kansas too, right?
I don't care.
He's playing that, but it says that he had. Hold on, real quick. I had this here. He had 23 rushing touchdowns and then threw for 12 touchdowns. So yeah, 23 rushing touchdowns and then 12 touchdown passes as a dual threat quarterback.
And he played special teams, so he can block.
Yeah,
that's all. I'm not saying he was going to change the game. Change us for being a 6 and 17.
Yeah. You're not saying he's Jermaine Gresham.
I'm not saying he's Jermaine Gresham. I'm not saying he's Gunnar Helm. I'm not saying any of those things. But I'm saying we had nobody. It's classic. It's classic Oklahoma. They can make good things. Like, I can hear some good news, and then they drop one of these bombs on me, and I just go right back into 2024, and I get pissed off all over again. Anyway, it's either here or there. On a positive note, before we start talking about Texas, we do have videos of John Mateer throwing the football, and it's spicy, Kevin. It is spicy video. I'm very excited about it. This kid looks like the real deal. He looks confident. He looks big. He looks like he's got an arm from the video, whatever.
We have seen video of him actually playing football and making plays.
But he's in a Oklahoma jersey throwing to Oklahoma players. And it looks and feels really good. I'm not gonna lie.
I think you guys should be excited about that. I think for all the incompetence that you had out there last year on the offensive side of the football, and you guys don't have to necessarily turn into, your 08 offense. But, if you have just a good offense, you should be a pretty good team this year given what you should be on defense.
Incompetent sounds like the nicest word you could possibly use to describe our offense last year.
Well, we try to keep the podcast clean, right?
Yeah.
So there are a
right.
lot of other words that we can use to describe Oklahoma's offense last year, but none of them are
None
clean.
of them are gonna pass the test. That's correct.
No.
The University of Texas. Kevin, give us any spring updates, and if you want to talk about any combine activity, because we talked a lot about the OU guys at the combine on the last one. Your guys hadn't run yet or performed yet. So whatever you want to give me, start wherever you want to start. Texas spring ball, Texas players.
Yeah, I mean, spring ball, like you talked about, no spring game. I get it. I'm fine with it. Fan day, autographs, come hang out with the team, meet the players, all that. And like you said, it's nice for the fans to be able to engage with the players. It feels like we know these guys less and less. Guys are coming in that are grad transfers and guys are coming in from schools that we've never even heard of, that most fans have never even heard of. So just a great way for the fans to get to know these guys. They're working hard. It's nice to see it. Should be fun for everybody. Bring the family down. Real quick, how do you feel about OU charging for that? Are you fine with it? Do you understand it? For your the Crimson Combine? $10.
It's just where we are. I don't know why you have to charge for it when you could just make a crap ton of money on concessions and stuff. When you can get sponsorships and pay for it. I don't know why the need to pass that on to the fan, but whatever. I guess that's just where we're at. Is Texas charging for theirs?
I don't think so. They've never charged for that. I've never known them to charge for the spring game. But I mean, you got to get people to come out. I think people are like, we could be doing so many other cool things. It's awesome, man.
Okay, let me ask you this. If you're an OU fan, are you going to fan day?
If I have kids, yeah.
I ask that because you live here.
Yeah, no. If I have kids, yeah. Yeah, if I have kids, I'm bringing them. Just me, probably not. I don't think so.
Yeah. If I don't have soccer games and the weather's nice, I could go. I could go.
Yeah.
One of my best memories with Oklahoma football was Jeffrey going, and I'm sure I've told this story before, but was the spring game following the 2008 title game against Florida.
Okay.
So that team was loaded, right? Like we were going to be preseason number one. Sam Bradford, DeMarco Murray, Gerald McCoy. I mean, it was
very talented football team. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was so good. And we got to go with a kids group and get autographs. And so we had the football. Specifically with Sam Bradford, he had just won the Heisman. Kevin, I had never seen anything like it. He was physically having to push kids away. They were crowding in on him. It was so much. He got his football voice out. It was like, guys, back off. I mean, it was nuts. Jeffrey was able, he was like 8 or 9 at the time. He was able to sneak in underneath and like get the autograph and then snuck back out. But the cool part was the holder was Carter Whitson, the kicker.
Yeah.
The point after holder, field goal holder was Carter Whitson. And so Jeffrey went up to him and said, "Hey, my last name's Whitson." And he's like, "Oh, really? What's your first name?" He said, "Jeffrey." He's like, "Oh, I'm actually Jeffrey Carter Whitson."
Oh, that's cool.
So that was cool.
Yeah,
I got to talk to him. But man, the ball, I don't know if I still have it. It might be at the office. It's got great names on it, man. Bob Stoops. It was really fun. So that's a memory that Jeffrey and I have. So it does make sense if the kids can go. Again, I don't probably not going. You're probably right though. If it's just us. Anyway, back to Texas.
Yeah, so I mean, just excited for spring ball. Just want to see, of course, Arch Manning. It's what's on everybody's mind down in Texas. How's he going to do? Linking up with our receivers. Listen, we lost a lot of players, right? And I do think, while I do think that we have become a reload program, we lost a lot. We talked about going into this season how much we lost with I felt very confident about the team that we were going to be this year. I will tell you right now, at least at this exact moment, my confidence is not as high as it was last year.
You've
Just
seen all those
because,
guys. You've seen all those guys going to the draft and wondering where that production is going
correct.
to come from. Yeah,
Four offensive linemen, man.
yeah.
We had all guys coming back this year, except Christian Jones. We lost one. So we had 4 returning last year. We've only got 1 returning this year. That's DJ Campbell, a guard. So that's a concern there. So I want to see how this offensive line comes together. What's our defensive line going to look like? We lose very experienced players in Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton. Now, I feel great about the edge position. I feel great about that. I feel really good about linebacker with Anthony Hill. I feel pretty good about the secondary. Obviously, Jade Barron is a massive loss, but having Michael Taft back and having Manny Muhammad back at corner, I like Jelani McDonald in the secondary as well. But I just want to see how are these new guys going to elevate? Are they going to be ready for prime time? Because week 1 we got to go to Columbus, Ohio. It's going to be a massive game, so we got to get these guys ready to go. We got to get them ready to go. So that's what I'm looking forward to when it comes to spring ball. Go ahead.
When does spring ball start for y'all? When are we going to start getting some March videos?
I don't have a date yet as to when.
While you're looking that up,
starts, so yeah.
We talked about this before, but Arch, bypassed any NIL deals until he became the starter.
Yes.
Now that he is the starter, he is cashing in, and his whole family is cashing in. Have you seen these?
I have.
I don't know
absolutely have.
Now, to those NIL deals that he's doing, are those going through Texas, or is he getting his own NIL deals out just via?
I imagine he's getting his own deals. Yeah, I think he's got his own. I mean, he's a Manning, so they got family representation. So yeah, so I don't think it has anything to do with Texas. I mean, Red Bull and what's it, Uber?
Uber and Waze, I think. Is it?
Yeah,
Waze, the navigation app.
Yeah. So I mean, some big time deals, man. But good for him,
Get paid. It's all right. To me,
yeah, exactly.
To me, that's what NIL was supposed to be.
Correct.
If you can get paid on your own with advertising, go get it.
Yes. Right. Use your name, image, and likeness to
Yeah.
It wasn't to entice you to go to a certain.
Did you find a date?
Certain school.
Did you find a date?
No, only everything I found was just a date of the Fan Fest, which is I think April 26th. So with it being then, I don't think it's spring practice going to start anytime soon. So I don't have a date. But
what do they get? 15 practices, something like that?
Yeah, I think 15 or 16 practices. So they said they're doing like OTA style camp, like the NFL does. Kind of what how this is going to be going this year.
Well, that's about right. All right. Kevin.
Hold on, real quick. Let me hit on that combine real quick.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So, we talked about last time, Isaiah Bond, Texas wide receiver, saying that he was going to break Xavier Worthy's combine record of 4.21. He seemed very confident about that.
Yeah, he was verging on cocky. Absolutely.
And it's kind of funny because the combine has grown a lot. So in the stadium, when he got ready to run, they're putting it up, the quote and everything, and people were actually excited about it. There was a buzz happening when he was set to run. I don't know if that affected him, but he did not run anywhere close to that. He ended up running a 4.39, which is very fast, but nowhere close to a 4.21.
No.
Nowhere close. So, not a great moment for him in that aspect. Again, if you're a receiver, you want a 4.39 is a great 40.
A 4.39 it's elite speed. It is elite speed. It's not what Xavier Worthy ran last year.
No. And even Worthy kind of tweeted out after that. He said, "There's fast, and then there's me." Yeah.
Hey, until somebody breaks it, he can send that tweet every year.
Correct, especially if you say you're going to break it.
Yeah.
And Jaden Blue said the same thing.
Could Bond have broken it? Because you think he was really fast.
I think it wouldn't have surprised me if he would have ran in the low 4.3s or even like a 4.29, but 4.21, man. I mean, that's just, what are we talking about here? 4.21?
It's at some point you're going to reach the human limit of speed.
Yeah.
I don't know if 4.21's it. God bless, it sure seems like it.
But here's the crazy thing, though. We had Matthew Golden, who never said a word about his 40. All he said is, I'm going to run the 40. Didn't say anything about a record. And he comes out and he runs a 4.29. A 4.29. I'm just like, Texas had 3 guys run below 4.4, or 4 players run below 4.4 at the combine. It's crazy, man.
When you look back at the last 2 years of receivers for Texas, does it blow your mind the speed and talent you had there in 2 years, in a 2-year window? It
really does, man.
And they were completely different. Like,
yes, yeah, we have between Worthy and A.D. Mitchell, and then you flip that to what we had this year with Bond and Matthew Golden. Yeah, it's pretty wild, man, to have that kind of talent out there.
Well, and you had a different third receiver.
And we had Jordan Whittington.
And you had a different tight end. I mean, basically your receiving skill players were a complete turnover, which was my concern going into last year. Like, where are you going to get that production from? And then I don't know if they surpassed it or not, but they were very comparable.
At least Matthew Golden was. He was outstanding. And, he was so good in those big moments.
Yeah.
So many games for us, and he was really good in the Ohio State game. He was really good in the second Georgia game, in the SEC championship game. The 4th and 13 touchdown to save the season against Arizona State. He's going to go in the first round, and I think he's going to be a really good NFL receiver.
Okay, so let's just project a little bit then. Receivers for next year, any chance? I mean, you can't keep that going, can you?
Well, I mean, we've got Ryan Wingo, who's very talented. You saw him in the Cotton Bowl make some plays. He faded a bit down the stretch. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know if he hit a freshman wall or if, the coverage was different. Not sure what happened with him.
It's a lot of ball, though, too. You had those couple extra playoff games and, having the SEC championship game. It's a lot.
So we'll have him penciled in as a starter. Also, DeAndre Moore, who had a really good season for us, too. He was our slot guy this past year. So I expect for him to get a bump up in production, too. Those are the only 2 proven guys we have. Everybody else is just talent. And it's young talent, too, which is I'm a little bit concerned about. I wouldn't be surprised if they can find an elite guy in the spring portal, somebody that has experience similar to what Matthew Golden had last year. If they can find someone like that in the portal in the spring, I wouldn't be surprised if they went for him. If not, we'll be relying on young talent and seeing what it can do for us, which, again, I'm nervous about that.
Well, hopefully they're watching all the schools' spring games that didn't cancel, and then they're going to go poach all their players.
Well, here's the thing, though. Maybe not the spring game. I know you didn't mean that. But, we talked about OU bringing in Jim Nagy, right? And with all the contacts that he has, I expect you guys to be busy in the spring portal. Think about it like this, right? He's a guy who scouts for the Senior Bowl. And it's not like he's just scouting Texas and Oklahoma schools like that. He's found guys from Delaware State, these random little schools, and brought them to the Senior Bowl. And these guys have ended up being first, second round picks and really good NFL players who none of us had even heard of, right? He's got these contacts. The scouting process doesn't start when these guys are seniors. It starts years in advance. So he's got a list of guys, right? So what if there was a guy who was going to put into the Senior Bowl next year? What if he calls and say, hey, look, I'm going to put you in the Senior Bowl, but would you want to play your senior year at OU, playing in the SEC, elevate your status now? And maybe not, even if it isn't just this year, but just in the next couple of years. Think about that.
Well, and so how does he avoid the tampering? He can call the kid's agent?
I mean, look, we all know that sampling, everybody does it, and yeah, they're workarounds.
Yeah.
Right? Straight up. Everybody's doing it,
No,
I'm
no.
sure. Right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And again, who has more contacts than him? He was a regional scout. These guys know everybody. You got to go and you build relationships at every school, at every conference. You know all these coaches, you know all these players,
Listen,
position coaches.
He's saying all the right things. He's pretty active on social media already.
I told you, man, I've been following him for years, so he's a great follow on social media when he was the director of the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't congratulate you guys enough on making that hire. And it doesn't matter what happens on the field this year, even if it turns out that Venables isn't the guy. This has nothing to do with him. This is, for me,
it's a different silo now. It's a completely different silo.
Even if Venables is gone as your head coach, having him, it's a massive deal. And honestly, it's a copycat world, and I think Texas should bring in someone similar.
I think Oklahoma's setting the blueprint. I think they're the blueprint setter. And if you're right, and we are really active in the portal, it's going to be something to keep an eye on. And here's the thing, man. Just give OU's roster is not depleted. Okay? We lost 3 guys to the draft, a handful of other guys. But if we can get players in the right, we've had very good recruiting classes and fairly good retention outside of the offensive skill players, which we knew we were going to lose anyway. I don't know, man. I look, we can go 9-3 next year. We can go 9-3. There's a path for 9-3. And if Nagy can really impact even the roster to it, just give us 1 or 2 dudes, it could really impact it.
Your schedule is really, really tough. And I think
it's the toughest in the country. It's the toughest in the country.
Correct. So for you to go 9-3, you would basically have to be a top 5 level team, I think. Because the schedule's so hard. I'm not saying that you can't do that. I think your roster has been depleted a lot by the transfer portal. You've had more going out than going in.
Yeah, but
I want to see how the depth is. I know you.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see just what the depth is like.
I agree.
That's my question. Yeah.
Well, dude, listen. If Jaden Gibson's still hurt, I don't know. Yeah. A small setback.
And
okay.
Are these guys that you brought in going to be able to elevate to this level? At receiver specifically.
I don't know about receiver. I don't know. I think Mateer could be that dude. I really do. I think
the talent's there.
I think he could be a top 4 quarterback in the SEC.
Me too.
And if you're a top 4, if you have a top 4 quarterback in the SEC, you have a very good chance of going 9-3.
Yeah, I mean, so who are we thinking, right? We've got Mateer, we've got Lagway, who's still young, but the talent is there, right? I think Arch is very talented. I think he'll be in the mix.
I think he could be better than Nico.
Okay, I can see that.
You just lost Milroe. Milroe's gone at Alabama. I think he's better than Arnold at Auburn now, right?
Yeah.
The kid from Missouri's gone, right? So we don't have to worry about
he's gone.
So you've got some guys. First of all, I think Lagway is probably the cream of the crop in the SEC.
Yeah.
Who am I forgetting?
We're projecting this, right?
No. LSU. No, Nussmeier.
Yeah, Nussmeier.
Nussmeier is probably your preseason Heisman Trophy winner. So you got Nussmeier and Lagway. And then who else? Nico.
Yeah, Nico, Arch,
the kid from Georgia who replaced
Gunnar Stockton. Yeah, I mean, who we all know is a tough guy, but is he good though? Yeah, right? I mean, he got just the crap knocked out of him by Andrew Makuba and got up.
Yeah, he's a football player.
Yeah, exactly. Taylor Green is back at Arkansas. Talented guy. Got sacked 32 times, but a good player.
I mean, if I'm going to rank them just off the cuff, this wasn't on the script, so I'm just coming off the cuff. And if I forgot somebody, let me know. It's Nussmeier, Lagway, Lenora Sellers, John Mateer.
Okay.
Maybe, depending on the offensive line, maybe Arch.
Yeah. Correct. And
then maybe Taylor Green, and then Nico. Nico never really caught my eye. I'll tell you, the dark horse kid is the one at Ole Miss, and I don't know what his name is.
Simmons.
Golly, dude, that's just that one drive I saw against Georgia last year.
Yeah, he handled himself very well in that situation.
So
very well.
I think him and Mateer are kind of in that. If one of them has a breakout year, then they could really elevate themselves into the conversation of top 3 or 4.
Yeah, and with Nico, he just did not elevate like we expected. Kind of like, you can kind of say this about Quinn, right? Like he's hoping to see a little bit more of a rise going into this year 2 for him. So we'll see. A&M, of course, has Marcel Reed back. Diego Pavia is also back for Vanderbilt.
Listen, I like the Pavia kid, but he's just a football player. He's a good football player, though. I'm talking. There's 16 schools, top 4 out of those 16. I think Mateer has a shot. I think he really does. All right, let's transition. We got a lot of basketball to talk about, Kevin. Real quick, before we talk about men's basketball, because it's going to take a little longer, I do want to give a shout out to the ladies basketball. The SEC tournament for the women's basketball started yesterday. Today is March 6th. It started on March 5th. Oklahoma played their first game, and they beat down Georgia 70-52. Oklahoma is on an 8-game winning streak. They are 24-6. They ended up 4th in the SEC. Listen, they're peaking at the right time. This is an incredibly tough conference. They're peaking at the right time. Speaking of an incredibly tough conference, led by Texas, 29-2, first in the SEC. Their first game in the SEC tournament will be tomorrow because they were first, and the way the bracket all works out, they didn't have to play. Look, dude.
Yeah, they're playing Ole Miss tomorrow.
The girl, is that who? Okay, because they hadn't played.
Yeah, I've got the bracket. Yeah, I've got the current bracket. So we'll have the quarterfinals, and that's tomorrow. Vanderbilt and South Carolina, Oklahoma against Kentucky.
Yep.
Texas and Ole Miss, and then LSU will play the winner of Florida and Alabama, who are just tipping off now.
Here's the thing. And we're going to talk. We're going to talk more about men's basketball because we watch it more and stuff. But I think you would say this about your team for sure. Are they the number 1 team in the country right now?
They are.
Wow.
Yeah.
You want to watch
15-1 in conference. Yeah. Correct.
You want to watch these girls play basketball. My point is, the reason I bring it up is you want to watch these girls play basketball because both schools are playing it the right way right now.
Yeah, I mean, Texas finished 15-1 in conference. Oklahoma 11-5, 13-game winning streak right now for Texas. Their only loss was to South Carolina in conference, and South Carolina's only loss was to Texas. So we'll see if it comes down to those two. There's some really good teams. LSU's a good team. Oklahoma's a good team. So is Kentucky. So, yeah, it's been fun. Great season.
Hey, look, dude, Reagan Beers has been a stud for Oklahoma. We're going to lose a couple seniors with Lexi Keys and Peyton Verhulst and Skylar Van. So, I mean, it's been a fantastic group of girls for Jenny Baranchek. Get out there, pay attention to what's going on. You know what I like about the girls' NCAA tournament is they get to host the first 2 rounds.
Correct.
Texas will for sure, and I'm pretty sure Oklahoma's going to be able to host. So that's huge. It's huge to be able to host. All right.
Agreed.
Men's basketball. Start with Oklahoma. 2 weeks ago, they had to win 3 out of the 5 games to make the tournament. That was my prediction. As of now, they've gone 2-2, and their remaining game is against Texas. They just came off a win against number 15 in the country, Missouri. 96-84 win, where Jeremiah Fears goes for 31, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Jalen Moore with 11 points, 7 rebounds. Oklahoma improves 18-12. I talked to you. You asked me after the Kentucky game what I talked about Fears. I haven't seen him in person, and I was impressed. I also have to say this guy has been a different dude over the last 6 or 7 games than he was at the beginning of the conference. And I am starting to see, I still don't know if I'm sold on lottery pick, but maybe, because he is really, really starting to deliver in the back half of this season. He's got us in a position where if we can beat Texas, who comes off a huge win of their own against Mississippi State, 87-82. Trey Johnson went for 23. Tremont Mark went for 24. You improved to 17 and 14. The latest bracketology for each of these two teams. Oklahoma was the last team. The first team out as of March 4th that did not include the Missouri win. Texas was among the last 4 out, does not include the Mississippi State win. By the way, Mississippi State was ranked 25. Kevin, is it as simple as OU versus Texas for a berth in the NCAA tournament?
It certainly sounds that way. And I'm so curious to see how these teams are going to handle that kind of pressure there.
Rankings are standings. Any other year would sound terrible. Okay.
Yes.
Texas is currently ranked 13th out of 16 SEC teams. Oklahoma is ranked 14th. Conference records, Texas is currently 6-11. Oklahoma currently 5-12. Let's see. So if OU wins, OU will improve to 6-12. Texas will fall to 6-12. If OU loses, they'll be 5-13. Texas will be 7-11. Last week, I said there was a chance that they play each other in the SEC tournament. I don't think there's a chance unless Texas wins and jumps like to 11th in the SEC.
Okay, we'll be on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, because 13 and 14 don't play each other. Like 14 plays 11, and 12 and 13 play each other. So I think, look, the SEC is really, really good this year, and you're seeing it. I don't know if shock's the right word, but very pleasantly surprised that OU beat Missouri. You got to be thinking kind of the same. I mean, it's kind of like a mirror image with Texas, right?
Correct. Did you watch the Ole Miss game on Saturday? OU and Ole Miss?
I followed it on my phone.
Okay.
And there was some bad calls at the end of the game that went against us that were very frustrating.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was not happy. Porter Moser continues to lose close games.
Yeah.
His end of game scenarios at some point have to fall on the coach.
Yeah.
Because if you can get to that many end game scenarios, the talent level isn't very different. That makes sense?
Yeah, for sure.
If you're scoring similar point totals, then your talent level isn't like some crazy disparity. It's when you get into crunch time and you're not making the right decisions, it's costing games. So I was very frustrated. But Kevin, I'm an OU fan, dude. I'm back. Beat Missouri.
Welcome back. I mean,
let's go beat Texas.
I think Jeremiah Fears, I think he's kind of confirming his lottery status. I mean, I didn't realize he was 6'4". Did you realize that?
I knew he was 6'4". You know what's crazy part is he's kind of Steph Curry like in the sense that he looks really, really young.
Yeah.
And when you see the features of somebody that looks young, it's hard to picture somebody that looks so young, so tall.
Right.
Because you look like a kid.
Yeah.
That happens to be 6'4". It's weird.
I don't know. His ability to get to the rim, man. I think it's pretty special. He can get to the rim and finish around bigger defenders. I think that's what those NFL, almost say NFL, NBA scouts are seeing with him. So,
well, how about Trey
enjoy it,
Johnson?
man. And hopefully, yeah. Well, I mean, 3-level score. He can hit the three. He can hit the mid range. He can go to the rim, and he's 6'6", 190. So really good size too. So,
Did he have 6 or 7 threes against Mississippi State?
Oh man, I think he had at least 5.
I think he had 7. It's pretty crazy.
It's been insane how good he's been. I honestly can't believe it. We knew he was a 5-star kid, and we're all excited about that. But we've had 5-star kids who've just been kind of like, even one and done guys. They just been like, oh, he's okay. He's a good talent. You can see why he's a talent, but they don't really show out during their season here. He's been the opposite, man. I mean, I'm telling you, he's been the most exciting freshman that we've had since Kevin Durant.
If Oklahoma wins, they get to 19 wins. Historically, in the tournament, 19 wins get you in. 19 wins in this SEC, I think it almost has to, Kevin, right? I mean, Lenardi's been on it all year. And they're either in or out, depending on did they win on Saturday. It's just like, and having beaten Missouri, that's got to bump. That's a quad 1 win, right?
Yeah, I mean, both Texas and Oklahoma had the quad 1 wins the other night with you guys beating Missouri and Texas beating Mississippi State. So adds to the resume. I'm just curious, what are they going to think about the losses, though, right? You guys losing to LSU, Texas losing to South Carolina. How much is that going to hurt us when being looked at against other teams that are on the bubble?
I'm looking at OU's net rankings, and they have 5 quad 1 wins.
Okay.
But they played 15 quad 1 games. So they only have 1 quad 2 loss and 1 quad 3 loss. The LSU loss is the one that haunts you.
Correct. It's like Texas losing to South Carolina. Can't do that. What's your net ranking? Do you know?
50.
50. Okay, let me see. I'm pulling up the list. Okay, Texas is 40. They're 40. So I don't know, man. I have no idea what to expect. Hopefully they can, just because I want to see Trey Johnson in the tournament, see what he can do. Don't expect him to make a run or anything, but you want to see your team in the tournament, especially for Oklahoma. Porter Moser, this is year 4, and he hasn't been there yet.
Look, this is the Oklahoma, Texas. It's the only podcast exclusively dedicated to Oklahoma and Texas and the rivalry that is college football. But let's face it, dude. It doesn't matter what sport we play in. We absolutely hate each other. Like, it's real. And for the basketball game, I don't care if we both suck, because we kind of do in a way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The fact that you can, for all intents and purposes, eliminate the other team, that's what this rivalry is about.
Yeah. Send them home. Prime.
Yeah. I want to see, I know you want to see Trey Johnson. I don't want to see Trey Johnson. Oh, we get his ass beat.
Yeah, you said go ahead and start getting ready for the NBA draft.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, look, dude.
And then also for Porter Moser, he hasn't beaten Texas yet.
He could be here if he loses on Saturday and he's gone 4 years without beating Texas, to me is enough to fire him.
Yeah. It's mind-blowing, man.
4
straight sweeps?
That's a crazy stat.
That is a crazy stat, man. And it's not like, we got a run of TJ Ford, the Rick Barnes where we're going to the Sweet 16 and the Elite
No,
Eight every year.
the first couple years were really good. You had some really good teams, but since come on, guys,
No.
you're 17 and
Yeah,
13.
exactly.
It's our only quad 2 loss.
And we're likely looking for a new coach.
If Porter makes it, he stays the coach, though, right?
I think so.
If Rodney Terry makes it, does he stay the coach? If he makes the tournament?
I don't think so. Especially if they lose
Oh,
the first round.
really?
I don't think so. I don't think so, man. I mean, we'll see what the financials are, but I don't think so. If they lose the first round, I don't think so.
Porter has a little bit of a buyout that people keep talking about.
Is it $10 million or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I get frustrated with Porter. You know this. Just like we talked about with the Ole Miss game. It's just the in-game scenarios just aren't very good. To have a record like he has in one possession games, it's just abysmal over 4 years.
Yeah.
It's abysmal. I think the only one he had was Oklahoma State, and the play didn't get drawn. He drew up a play, and they didn't even run the play that he drew up.
Yeah, the play kind of got screwed up and just got a good shot off.
Yeah. It's like, well, maybe we shouldn't run any of his plays at the end of the game. So I don't know when it comes to Porter what I think about that. But as for this team, and I said this last week, as for this team, Jeremiah Fears, like just the same way you feel about Trey Johnson, is a guy like Jeremiah Fears should be playing in the tournament.
Correct.
I just don't see it. I really don't think I see a scenario where we both get in, though.
I agree, man. Unless one of us loses and makes a big run in the conference tournament, but that seems very unlikely as well. This is a good conference, man.
It's a good conference. It's been tough. God bless, it's been tough. Oh man. Kevin, what else you got going on? What do you want to hit? Oh, did you watch We Beat the Dream Team yet?
I did not. It's on the list though. It's on the list. Celtic City. Are you going to watch that?
Of
Bill
course.
Simmons.
It's so good. Did you see the lot? Have you seen episode 1?
No. I'm actually going to watch it. I actually might watch it tonight.
Go watch We Beat the Dream Team first, okay? Please.
How long is it?
Like an hour and 15.
All right. Yeah, I'll get to that.
I watched the back half of Celtic City. It was on last night, just kind of like on the on HBO.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I just turned to it. So it was the tail end of Bob Cousy's career. And Russell's just he's too good. Because the guy asked him, how lucky are you to get, one of the reporters, how lucky are you to get to play with Bob Cousy? And Bill Russell goes, you're asking the wrong question. How lucky are they to get to play with me?
Exactly.
He's like, Boston did not win a title until I showed up.
Let them know,
and
man.
And nobody can answer. Anybody else sounds as arrogant as you can, but when it's the truth, it's not arrogance.
Right. Yeah.
And when you think through what he's talking about, it's
kind of interesting, right? When you have the most historic franchise, them and the Lakers in the NBA, and there is a clear number one is who your best all-time player is.
Yeah. Which is
just very rare.
I grew up loving Larry Bird.
Of course.
And so when somebody says, who's the best Celtic of all time, my immediate thought always goes to Larry Bird.
Okay.
But that's not the right answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not. What's interesting about that question is you could maybe talk about who's a better player, I guess.
Yeah.
But who's the best Celtic it's not close.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even qualify. I mean, it's just not close.
Yeah. They've got some legends over there, man. They've got so many all-time greats. Alice's
national conference has been in Boston the last 3 years and is projected to be there the next 3 years, I've got to catch a Celtics game. I just have to.
You do. No matter who they're playing, just get there.
And then if you go like early, they do tours, like museum tours. They've got like the Boston Sports Hall of Fame is in the TD Ameritrade Center. So you can go look at the Hall of Fame and you can go do all the stuff, and then they'll do a tour. I want to do it all. Last year I wasn't able to, because last year I didn't go this year, but 2 years ago they were out of town. They were in the NBA Cup against the Pacers. But man,
you got to get there, man.
It's
always fun. I went to the Thunder Celtics game this year at the Paycom Center. It was good times.
Tatum's got a chance. He's got a chance.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. He's gonna be up there when it's all said and done. He'll be up there. He won't be the greatest, but
did they retire Garnett's number?
I don't know. I don't know if they did or not.
They retired Paul Pierce's number, I bet.
And they should have.
They loved Paul Pierce.
He was great.
Boston loved Paul Pierce. And then to have Ray Allen for the time that they had, that was a good big three. That was a really good big three.
It was.
They beat the Lakers if Kendrick Perkins doesn't get hurt, right?
Probably. Great matchup though. The good Lakers team too, man. Loaded.
Yeah, anything about the Celtics is fascinating. And the other piece, we talk a lot of stuff on, again, you still haven't watched the documentary, but so much of Boston sports, the history is race-based. It's just Boston's a different world.
Big time, yeah.
All you got to do is watch a Ben Affleck and Matt Damon movie to see what that means. Boston is its own little corner of the world and its own self, and then you thrust the greatness that experienced, and then who it came from in the 60s, coming from Bill Russell, was a shock to the system. And then you get to the 80s, and it's Larry Bird, who shocks the NBA, being as good as he was as a white guy. Man,
interesting dynamic for sure.
Boston makes for LA. Everybody's chill. Jerry West, no problem. Well, no problem, because that's LA. LA's cool.
Magic, we're having fun.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the Lakers Dynasty? Did you ever watch any of that? The one.
The TV show.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
No.
I didn't have any interest. Yes, I need you to watch. We Beat the Dream Team, because I really want to talk to you about that. We talked about Gene Hackman last time. So it was just me and my daughter at the house a couple days ago. And I was like, dude, have you ever seen Crimson Tide? And she's 12. And she's like, no, I've never seen it. I'm like, oh, well, let's watch Crimson Tide. Okay. I'm always used to watching Crimson Tide on television.
Okay.
I was not prepared for the number of F-bombs in Crimson Tide. Like, it was a little unsettling watching
it was rated R movie.
Daughter. Yeah. So just a caution out there.
Yeah. It is a rated R movie.
But gosh, it's good, dude. The tension in that movie is so good. And you know what they do in that movie to create the tension more than anything? And it's the clock. The Russians will have nuclear launch capability in 37 minutes. And you're just like, oh, that element of time ratchets the tension up, dude. So good. All right, man. Thunder, any Thunder updates for us?
Man, they're balling out still. Second best record in the league behind Cleveland. 11-game lead in the Western Conference. So still tinkering with lineups because
is Caruso going to get and stay healthy for this playoff run?
I hope so. The Thunder certainly need him. But man, they've got so much depth though, right? With Casey Wallace has been playing great at guard. He's an elite defensive player.
He's been shooting the ball well too, though.
100%. Yeah, he's been really good shooting the ball. So they've got a lot of depth. Aaron Wiggins has been just one of the best bench players in the league. over the last couple months. So the depth is there, man. If they can stay healthy and if they can get a reliable second score in the playoffs, which I think J-Dub will elevate this year in the playoffs, the first experience last year in that series against Dallas. Expect him to elevate. If they get consistent second scoring, I think they can make the finals.
Will Wiggins win Sixth Man of the Year?
I don't know if he's actually the sixth man.
Is that the problem?
Yeah.
Does he have to technically be the sixth man, or can he just be
I
a guy
don't
who
know.
comes off
I don't
the
know how
bench?
that works. That's a really good question. Because like
I
Ginobili
don't
was
know.
always the first guy off the bench, right?
Yeah.
The Spurs, so that's so curious. I don't know. He's been really good though. Really good.
I said it last week, and I'm going to keep saying it. They keep shooting. They're going to win. I'll put it past. I'll one up you and say they win the title if they can keep shooting.
Okay.
It's just if Casey Wallace keeps stroking it like he's doing it, Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, you got to make shots. It comes down. It's still basketball. At the end of the day, you have to make shots. And look, dude, there's talent as anybody out there. Look, you're a Thunder fan, okay, and you have a very different version of view of KD in your mind than I do, being a Texas fan.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want them to trade for KD, right? Like, come on.
No.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
We don't have to go into the whole KD thing, but that's a dumb. Whatever, it's just dumb.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
Of course, it's not necessary. Of course, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get caught up in the clickbait trade deals. That they should trade it. I don't want to go into every one of the options, but look, dude, Presti's got it figured out, man. And we don't need to trade. I don't know how you want to trade away any of your capital, any of your picks, any of your low-paid players. They're all paid on the low end right now.
Yeah. Now, I want to see what happens when these guys start earning bigger contracts.
I think you're going to see a New England Patriot model. I think you're going to see some guys get let go, don't you think?
Yeah, and that's what I want to see. Yeah. What happens with like the Lou Dort and Aaron Wiggins and these guys as they continue to develop and teams start coming in and say, hey man, we'll give you a $60 million contract for 3 years, something like that, which is more than they're likely making now. You can only have so much payroll, right? J-Dub's going to be due up for a contract here soon.
Is Shea already a max contract?
I believe so. Let me pull up his contract.
No, I agree. I just think you're going to start to see the same sort of roster management that's been, you leverage the draft, build from the draft, and if you got to let Dort go, you got to start planning for that.
Yeah, correct.
Who are the untouchables? Chet and Shea.
Yes, and J-Dub too. Yeah, Jalen Williams. They're not letting him go.
You add J-Dub into it. Do you pay him a max contract?
Well, I don't know if you can carry 3 max guys.
That's
if
what
you
I'm
can,
saying.
Then yeah, I don't know. Because right now, okay, so Shea's on a 5-year, $179 million contract. So he's making 35.8 a year, and he'll be his contract goes through the 2027 season. So he's got 2 more years left after this one.
Do you ever think about, like, for a minute, what his direct deposit looks like every 2 weeks?
Yeah, I have no idea, man. It's crazy.
It's that first check has to hit so hard, and maybe they just keep hitting hard. But I mean, I can't even. I mean, at $36 million a year, he's making $3 million a month. That means every 2 weeks he's making $1.5 million. So with taxes, every 2 weeks every 2 weeks is $800,000, $900,000.
Crazy. It's crazy, right?
In his account, $800,000 to $900,000 every 2 weeks. He's almost a millionaire every 2 weeks.
It's wild, man.
I'm not saying this is unique. It just hit me. I'm starting to get a little loopy after an hour and 10 minutes, but I'm just saying. Anyway, go ahead. You're saying if they can do 3 max, those are your 3 guys. But if they can't, it's Shea and Chet, right? I mean, he's the one that gets.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think so.
Now, in the NBA, can you Tom Brady this deal and take less?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just will they?
Hmm. Did
What's
Steph
what's
Curry
more
take
important?
did Steph take less over the years? Did he Tom Brady it? I feel like he
Probably
might
wouldn't
have. I
surprise.
think
Yeah, because he wanted all his guys there. He wanted Clay and he wanted Draymond to be there.
yeah.
Yep, especially Draymond. Draymond's his guy. Nobody has set him up more than Draymond.
Draymond's an idiot.
He is, but he's a really really
He's an,
good
i- he's an
player.
idiot with 5 titles. And
He's a great on court teammate.
what do you think about Draymond's comments about Steph needing to be in the GOAT discussion?
Um, I mean, is he one of the greatest players of all time? Yeah. Now, is he
100%.
in the conversation of being the GOAT? I don't think so, but what a career, though, man. What a
He's
career he's
great.
had.
He's already the greatest shooter of all time.
Unquestionably. So, I mean, but I don't know if I could
But
put him
he's
on
not
the
even. But
level of
he's not even the best player in his position. He didn't play point guard, does he? He's a shooting
I
guard,
don't,
right?
I mean, yeah, I think he's a shooting guard. They might list him as a point guard, but he's a shooting guard, right? I mean,
I mean, Jordan's better.
yeah, for sure.
Hold on just a second.
I mean, top shooting guards are Jordan and Kobe. And then, I mean, where do you go after that? Dwayne Wade? Like,
Yeah. No, you go Wade. I remember when Dwayne Wade retired, he was way up there. You had Dwayne Wade, then you got Clyde Drexler, maybe.
yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, it's
Um,
interesting that
you
it's a
know,
position that does not have
Isaiah
a
was
ton
a
of
two.
all-time greats.
Was Isaiah was a 2 guard, wasn't he? Or was Joe
I thought
Dumars
Isaiah
a
was a
2 guard?
point guard. Yeah, Joe Dumars
Isaiah's
was a
probably the
two.
point guard. It's probably man, Joe
Yeah,
Dumars
he's
is
the
a point
point
guard.
guard. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah. So then, yeah, so it's like Clyde Drexler.
uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Uh,
James Harden is a two guard. Jerry West, you can consider him a two.
if you consider Jerry West a 2, he's probably number 2 then, right? Behind Jordan. Well,
I don't know about our Kobe.
behind Jordan and Steph and Kobe.
Yeah, but then you get into Clyde Drexler. I mean, I
You
know
know
he
what?
handled the ball a lot,
Hey,
but AI was a shooting guard to me too.
here's
Allen
the
Iverson.
deal. This is a good comparison. We're getting into the weeds a little bit. That's okay though. We're now in 12 in. Kobe or Steph? That that is a fascinating one. Let that
It
see.
is.
Let that marinate for a second. That is a tough decision to make.
Yeah.
I don't know which way I'm going, and I've never been a Lakers fan, but I like nearly every basketball fan that grew up with like
Yeah.
tremendous amount of respect for Kobe.
Me too.
They
Me
got the
too.
same number of
Man,
titles.
yeah, they both got four, right?
They have 4 or 5.
I
Kobe's
think
got 5.
four. Kobe
Kobe
has
has
five.
5.
Kobe has five. Yeah, Steph has four. I'll go Kobe just because, especially during that first Lakers three-peat run, the two-way ability. I mean, we're talking about him being one of the best defensive players in the league.
Yeah,
So, some of those finals, 01 and 02 finals, I mean, he's scoring, 32 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, then 3 steals. He's locking down the best player on the other team as well.
I agree. I think
So,
I think it's probably Kobe, but I mean, look, dude, the game changed a little bit, and Kobe wasn't as well. Nobody's as pure a shooter as Steph, but he definitely wasn't as good a shooter as Steph. I mean, he just wasn't
no,
in
no,
the.
no. No, not at all. No, he's just great at everything, getting to his spots. Um, just his overall basketball IQ.
It's just his competitiveness. Let's just say it. It's just
He's a maniac.
he plays the way that everybody wishes everybody played now.
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
I wish that's what I think is missing in today's game is that maniacal approach to wanting to win. which you saw from Larry Bird and you saw from Michael Jordan.
It's just so rare. Yeah, you only get a few guys that are like. Well, you might have guys that are like that, but they're not. You don't have that combination of that with the talent.
Was Tim Duncan? Would you put Tim Duncan in that class?
100%. He wasn't as outwardly loud as someone like Kobe was, but yeah, he was an absolute competitive maniac. Yes.
Yeah, but I don't think David Robinson was. I don't think David Robinson
was not.
I mean, he's an all-time great player, but I don't think he would I don't think he would cut your heart out. I think he would stop just short of wanting to cut your heart out. Whereas Kobe would be like, "Give me the knife."
Duncan too. Yeah,
I think Duncan too.
You only get a few of those guys, man. You talked about that: Larry Bird, Jordan, Duncan, Kobe.
Bill Russell.
Very few. Yeah, but very, very few that have that combination. You have guys who are crazy competitive. They just don't have that talent.
Well, but look at Will Chamberlain.
Correct.
The statistical might be the statistical best player ever, just from a statistic standpoint. Number of points scored, rebounds,
50 points in a season.
Yeah, but when it came down to it, he got beat by Russell every time he played him.
Yeah. While being on good teams too, it sounded like he was playing with scrubs in LA. No. He had Jerry West and Elgin Baylor.
What? He had the logo on his team.
Yes. Three Hall of Famers there, and
you remember when Kobe passed away and they said they should make Kobe the logo?
I do remember that.
Remember that talk? I didn't mind that talk. I know it sounds kind of crazy.
I didn't either. I didn't mind it either, but I mean, I don't know. You can honor him in other ways.
Who's the MVP? Who's the NBA's Finals MVP named after? Is it Jordan?
Bill Russell, I believe. I mean, I think his name after Bill Russell.
Oh yeah, you're right, Bill Russell. Yeah, it's hard to pass it up, Bill Russell.
Yeah, remember he would hand it out every year.
Who?
Bill Russell did before he passed away.
Yeah.
Which is awesome to see him there every time you see the. Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
His laugh was the best. All right, Kevin, we gone a little long. That's okay. We always do. Look, dude, it's OU Texas. That's what it comes down to this weekend. Saturday at 7:00, Austin, Texas. Oklahoma, they're playing for their lives. Texas playing for their lives. Jeremiah Fears playing for his legacy. Trey Johnson playing for his legacy. Porter Mosher coaching for his job. Rodney Terry coaching for his job. This is it. Kevin,
a lot on the line.
What is on the line for you and I?
Bragging rights, man.
No. I want a candy bar Coke bet.
We're doing this? Coke. Okay. Use that as. No, I'm fine with it.
Do I still owe you from Texas? Did I ever pay you back?
Yeah, I don't think you have.
Okay, so double or nothing. Double or nothing.
That's perfect.
Double or nothing, Coke and candy bar. Kevin, have a great night. Enjoy the game on Saturday. Enjoy getting your ass beat.
Never. Okay. Don't forget.